Things women instantly notice about Sigma men. There's something undeniably magnetic about Sigma men. They don't seek the spotlight, yet they command attention. They don't follow the rules, yet they're respected. Sigma men are a rare breed, quietly confident, fiercely independent, and deeply self-aware. And whether they realize it or not, women notice. Instantly. This isn't about trying to impress anyone or chasing approval. Sigma men naturally stand apart because of who they are, not what they pretend to be. Their unique mix of mystery, strength, and authenticity makes them unforgettable in a world full of noise and bravado. If you've ever felt like you don't fit the mold of what society expects from men, and instead you carve your own path, you're likely a Sigma. It's not about being better or worse than anyone else, it's about being unapologetically you. And that's what women and people in general can't help but notice. This video is about shining a light on those distinct traits that make Sigma men stand out. It's not just about recognition, it's about growth. Because being a Sigma is a constant journey of self-improvement and self-discovery. So as you watch, take pride in what makes you different and embrace the power of being true to yourself. This is your call to action. Watch, reflect, and keep evolving. You're not just living life, you're designing it on your own terms. And that's what makes you extraordinary. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Number 1. Self-sufficiency. Sigma. Men exude a rare kind of self-sufficiency that women notice almost immediately. They don't rely on others for emotional validation, financial security, or mental stability. They've mastered the art of standing on their own, which makes them incredibly appealing. Whether it's navigating life's challenges or pursuing their goals, Sigma men trust themselves and are unshaken by external pressures. Emotionally, Sigma men don't need constant reassurance or attention. They've learned to regulate their feelings and handle adversity independently, which gives them a calm resilience that others often admire. Financially, they prioritize self-sufficiency, not because they want to prove something, but because they value the freedom that comes with being able to stand on their own. Mentally, they are focused and grounded, not swayed by the opinions or expectations of others. This self-sufficiency is what gives Sigma men an unwavering confidence. Women are drawn to it because it's not about arrogance, it's about strength. There's something undeniably magnetic about a man who is not desperate for validation, who doesn't seek to control or depend on others to feel secure. It makes them feel grounded and at ease, knowing that they are with someone who doesn't just take care of himself, but also values and nurtures the independence of those around him. Sigma men aren't swayed by societal pressures, and that's part of what makes them so alluring. They're not afraid to go against the grain, and it's this self-sufficiency, this unwavering sense of self, that makes them so irresistibly attractive. Number 2. A hint of vulnerability beneath strength. Sigma men are often seen as strong, independent, and unshakable. Yet beneath this exterior lies a quiet vulnerability that only reveals itself in rare, unguarded moments. It's subtle, but it's these glimpses of depth that make Sigma men particularly intriguing. Women notice when these moments occur, not because they're searching for weakness, but because they reveal a self-awareness that makes them even more captivating. When Sigma men do open up, it's never a dramatic display of emotion or weakness. Instead, it's a quiet acknowledgement of their human side, whether it's a fleeting admission of doubt, a moment of reflection, or a hint of discomfort in an unfamiliar situation. These moments don't take away from their strength, they enhance it. It's their ability to be self-aware and honest about their vulnerabilities that makes them truly compelling. Women admire this balance because it shows that Sigma men are not invincible. They don't pretend to be without flaws. They understand their own emotions and limitations, yet they face challenges with courage and resilience. This combination of strength and vulnerability feels real and accessible. What makes it so appealing is that Sigma men don't wear their vulnerability as a crutch or a plea for sympathy. Instead, they embrace it as a part of who they are, acknowledging it without letting it define them. It's this rare, understated balance that makes their presence so powerful and their character so magnetic. Number 3, non-conformity. That isn't loud. Sigma men walk their own path, and they do it without making a spectacle. Their non-conformity isn't about loudly rejecting norms or seeking attention. It's about living authentically on their own terms. They make choices based on their values and priorities, not because they want to stand out or fit in. Women notice this quiet defiance, and it's one of the things that makes them so compelling. What sets Sigma men apart is their calm confidence in going against the grain. They don't announce their independence or try to justify their choices to anyone. Whether it's their career, lifestyle, or even personal style, every decision they make feels intentional. They don't seek approval, nor do they push others to agree with them. They're simply unshaken by outside opinions. This kind of non-conformity feels genuine because it's rooted in self-awareness. Sigma men aren't rebelling for the sake of being different. They don't reject traditions or trends out of spite, but because those things don't resonate with them. It's this quiet, almost effortless authenticity that women find so intriguing. In a world where so many people try to stand out by being louder or flashier, Sigma men are the opposite. Their non-conformity doesn't demand attention, but it naturally draws it. Women admire this balance because it shows a man who knows who he is and doesn't need external validation to live his truth. It's rebellion without noise, a rare and powerful kind of independence. Number 4. Economy of words. Sigma men have mastered the art of saying more with less. They don't feel the need to fill every silence or dominate conversations with endless chatter. Instead, they speak with purpose, choosing their words carefully. This deliberate approach instantly sets them apart because it's rare, and it carries a certain weight that people, especially women, notice right away. Their economy of words isn't about being reserved or distant. It's about understanding the value of meaningful communication. When a Sigma man speaks, it's clear he has thought about what he's saying. His words come across as genuine, insightful, and often unexpected. In a room full of people talking just to be heard, his voice cuts through the noise because it actually matters. Women find this particularly intriguing because it reflects confidence and self-awareness. Sigma men don't need to prove their intelligence or worth with long-winded explanations or flashy statements. Their quiet but impactful contributions show that they're secure in themselves. They don't need validation. They're simply adding value to the conversation when it's needed. This measured approach also creates an air of mystery. Because they don't speak unnecessarily, people are naturally curious about their thoughts. Women are drawn to this restraint because it feels refreshing and intentional. With Sigma men, every word feels earned, making their presence in any conversation feel both compelling and meaningful. It's not just what they say, it's the deliberate way they say it that leaves a lasting impression. Number 5. Rebellious yet refined style. Sigma men have a way of dressing that feels like a statement without trying too hard. Their style is the perfect balance of rebellion and refinement, making them stand out in any crowd. It's not about following trends or wearing flashy pieces. It's about putting together a look that feels authentic, intentional, and a little unpredictable. What women often notice first is the contradiction. A rugged leather jacket paired with a crisp tailored shirt. Dark denim and boots that hint at a rebellious edge, yet paired with an understated watch that screams sophistication. It's the kind of style that says, I'm not here to conform, but I know exactly what I'm doing. This duality creates intrigue. On one hand, their style suggests they're untamed, someone who doesn't care about rules or expectations. On the other hand, the attention to detail in their grooming or the sharp fit of their clothes shows they value quality and precision. It's this tension between rough and polished that creates a visual enigma, one that women can't help but notice. Sigma men don't use their style to impress others. It's simply an extension of who they are. Every piece they wear has a purpose, whether it's practicality, individuality, or both. It's a quiet rebellion against the idea that you have to fit into a box. Their look tells a story. They're bold, they're refined, and most importantly, they're entirely their own. Number 6. Unwavering eye contact. When a Sigma man locks eyes with someone, it's more than just a fleeting glance, it's a statement. His eye contact isn't about power plays or manipulation, It's about being fully present in the moment. Women notice this immediately because it's rare. Most people look away, fidget, or seem distracted. But a Sigma man's gaze is steady and intentional, like he's genuinely paying attention to what matters. There's no hint of arrogance or condescension in his look. Instead, it carries a quiet confidence that feels calm, yet powerful. It's as if he's saying, "I see you," without needing to say a word. This kind of eye contact speaks of someone who is comfortable in his own skin, someone who doesn't need to prove anything or dominate the interaction. Women can sense this authenticity and are drawn to it because it's a refreshing change from the superficial bravado they often encounter. This gaze is also disarming because it signals respect and curiosity without any hidden agenda. It's not the hollow, practiced stare of someone trying to impress. It's a genuine reflection of someone who is self-assured and unafraid of connection. Women instinctively recognize this as rare and valuable because it communicates confidence on a deeper, almost subconscious level. For a Sigma man, his eye contact isn't just a social tool. It's an extension of who he is, steady, composed, and entirely unshaken. Number 7. Their quiet command. Sigma men have a rare gift, the ability to command attention without saying a word. They don't need loud voices, flashy gestures, or an overbearing presence to be noticed. Instead, their quiet confidence fills the space in a way that's impossible to ignore. When they walk into a room, they bring a calm, self-assured energy that turns heads, not because they demand it, but because they exude it. Their silence isn't passive, it's deliberate. Sigma men know that true strength doesn't require constant noise or validation. This restraint creates an air of mystery, making others, especially women, curious about who they are and what they're thinking. It's a power that doesn't need to announce itself, it simply exists. Women notice how Sigma men hold themselves, their measured movements, their composed demeanor, and their ability to stay grounded even in chaotic environments. It's not arrogance, it's clarity. Sigma men don't act out to prove themselves because they've already proven it to the one person who matters, themselves. What sets them apart is their ability to observe and listen without trying to dominate. They thrive on understanding the dynamics around them, and this quiet command earns respect naturally. It's not just their silence that speaks volumes, it's their undeniable presence. Women sense this, and it's what keeps them intrigued. It's a form of power few can master, and Sigma men wield it effortlessly. Number 8. The ability to hold space. Sigma men have a unique ability to hold space in a way that is both calming and empowering. In a world where constant chatter often fills the air, they can sit in silence without it feeling uncomfortable. They're not uneasy or trying to fill the void with words, and this calm presence allows others to relax and simply be. Women notice this almost instantly. There's something about being around a Sigma man that makes them feel truly seen and heard, even when no one is speaking. This doesn't mean they're overly attentive or trying to constantly engage in deep conversation. It's more subtle than that. Sigma men have a way of creating an atmosphere where silence isn't awkward. It's just a space for connection. Whether it's through a shared glance, a simple nod, or just the quiet energy between them, women feel comfortable and understood in their presence. They don't need to fill the gaps with forced conversation or constant validation. Their mere presence is enough to make someone feel valued. What makes this ability so powerful is that it doesn't feel performative. Sigma men don't seek attention by drawing people into unnecessary dialogue. They allow others to come to them when they're ready. This creates a safe, non-pressured environment where women can express themselves freely. It's a rare and magnetic quality, one that makes them feel completely at ease, knowing they don't have to explain or justify themselves. The silence speaks volumes, and it's a language that women instinctively recognize and appreciate. Number 9. Presence without pressure. Sigma men have a unique ability to be fully present without overwhelming anyone around them. They don't compete for attention or force their presence onto others. Instead, they let their energy speak for itself. This subtle approach creates a sense of ease that people, especially women, instantly notice and appreciate. What stands out most is how Sigma men balance being engaged without being overbearing. They can hold a meaningful conversation, genuinely listen, and offer thoughtful input. all without making the interaction about themselves. Their calm, composed demeanor makes others feel seen and valued, yet there's no pressure to perform or impress. This balance is rare and refreshing, especially in a world where so many seem desperate for validation. Women are particularly attuned to this quality because it signals emotional maturity. A Sigma man's presence feels steady and reliable, not needy or attention-seeking. He doesn't interrupt, overshadow, or demand anything from others. Instead, he allows people the freedom to express themselves fully while maintaining his quiet confidence. This approach sets Sigma men apart. Their presence is comforting and grounding, creating a space where others feel both respected and relaxed. It's not about playing games or trying to dominate. It's about showing up authentically and allowing others to do the same. This ability to stay present without pressure is one of the reasons women are so drawn to Sigma men. It's the kind of presence that lingers long after the moment has passed. Number 10. Respect without submission. Sigma men have a remarkable ability to treat everyone with respect, regardless of status or position, while maintaining their own sense of self-worth. They don't grovel before authority, nor do they look down on those they perceive as having less power. This balance of fairness and self-respect is rare and instantly noticeable. What stands out most is how Sigma men interact with people. They don't try to flatter or impress those above them, nor do they condescend to anyone beneath them. Instead, they engage with authenticity and equality, showing that they value character over titles. This isn't about rebellion or defiance. It's about understanding that everyone deserves dignity, but respect must be mutual. Women admire this quality because it reflects a grounded sense of confidence. Sigma men don't need to prove themselves to anyone, and they don't allow others to dictate their worth. They understand that hierarchy doesn't define value, and they navigate social dynamics with an understated assurance that commands respect in return. This approach also signals emotional intelligence. Sigma men recognize the humanity in everyone, yet they set boundaries where needed. They won't tolerate being disrespected, but they don't respond with arrogance or aggression. Instead, they remain composed, standing firm in their principles without escalating conflict. This ability to balance respect and self-respect is captivating because it reflects a man who knows his own value while honoring the value of others. A rare and admirable strength. Number 11. Intellectual depth without arrogance. Sigma men possess a quiet intellectual depth that sets them apart. They are naturally curious, constantly learning, and eager to understand the world around them. But they don't feel the need to announce it. Their knowledge surfaces naturally, woven seamlessly into conversations, often leaving a lasting impression without coming across as boastful. What makes their intellect so captivating is its understated nature. They aren't the type to dominate discussions or overwhelm others with facts. Instead, they listen carefully, ask thoughtful questions, and share insights only when it adds value. This ability to engage meaningfully, without overshadowing others, creates a sense of balance and approachability. Women notice this intellectual depth because it feels authentic. Sigma men aren't performing or trying to impress. They're simply sharing what they know in a way that reflects their genuine interest and humility. Their intelligence never comes across as arrogance or condescension. Instead, it invites others into the conversation, making them feel valued and respected. This balance of curiosity and humility is rare. It signals a man who is confident in his abilities but doesn't feel the need to prove himself. His knowledge isn't a weapon for dominance. It's a tool for connection and growth. Women find this combination incredibly attractive because it reflects emotional intelligence as much as intellectual strength. A Sigma man's mind is sharp, but it's his thoughtful, grounded delivery that truly stands out. Number 12. A lifestyle designed by choice, not circumstance. Sigma men live life on their own terms, designing their days around what truly matters to them rather than simply following the script set by society. Women can't help but notice this independence because it's not just about making different choices. It's about crafting a life that feels authentic and intentional. Sigma men don't let the expectations of others dictate their path. Instead, they prioritize personal fulfillment, whether that's through their career, relationships, or the way they spend their time. This lifestyle is not about rebellion for the sake of it. It's a quiet form of defiance. It's a refusal to be boxed in by conventional norms or rushed into decisions just because they're expected. Women admire how Sigma men carve out space for themselves, whether it's through unconventional career choices, traveling off the beaten path, or simply opting out of the social pressures that define success for others. The quiet nature of this rebellion is what makes it so compelling. There's no loud protest, no need for validation. Sigma men make their choices because they know who they are and what they want, and that self-awareness is what creates their true freedom. Women notice this sense of autonomy because it feels both powerful and liberating. It's a reminder that living authentically requires courage, and Sigma men embody that courage effortlessly. It's a lifestyle that inspires admiration because it reflects a person who is truly in charge of their own life, not swept along by the currents of society. In wrapping up, if you've made it this far, you're probably already starting to realize that Sigma men are different. And that's exactly it. They're different in a way that catches people's attention, especially women. It's not because they try to stand out, but because they don't need to try. They have a quiet strength, an authenticity, and an unapologetic independence that speaks for itself. So, what is it that women notice about Sigma men? It's the way they don't follow the crowd. It's their calm confidence that isn't loud or flashy, yet it demands respect. It's their ability to hold space, to be present without needing constant validation or approval. They live life on their terms, making decisions that feel right for them, not because society says so. Sigma men don't seek attention, but they do draw it. Their subtle power comes from knowing who they are and standing firm in that truth. They show up in the world without trying to impress anyone, and that's why they're so magnetic. They don't let anything sway them, and that stability is what makes them so intriguing. Thank you for sticking around till the end. I hope you've gained some insight into what truly makes Sigma men stand out in a way that others can't quite replicate. Keep embracing who you are, and remember, being true to yourself is always the most powerful thing you can do.